What is this?
That is a thermonuclear weapon cover.
Holy.
I bet you've never seen one before.
I'm 49 years old, and I remember the nuclear bomb drills. Get underneath your desk, put your arms over your head like this, and kiss your ass goodbye.
This item is significant to this modern day because in Las Vegas, we're close to where the thermonuclear and the atomic items were tested. I would like to ask $800. If you think of what it costs our country to build something like this, I believe that this item is well worth that price.
This protective cover is a genuine part of a dismantled model B-57 thermonuclear weapon. Okay, that is definitely cool. So this was a thermonuclear weapon as opposed to a nuclear weapon, which means it was a hydrogen bomb, correct?
That is correct.
The building of the nuclear bomb was the biggest project in World War II. And in the early 50s, they figured out how to make the thermonuclear bomb, which is like 1,000 times more powerful, correct?
Yes.
It's pretty rare that a part from a thermonuclear weapon comes into the pawn shop. And if this really is what the plaque says it is, it's cool. It's really cool. Where did you get it?
I was a physicist and had a lot of connections and involvement with the military. So at one of those military installations in New Mexico, this really stuck out. And when I found out it was for sale, I just had to have it.
Okay. Removed before flight? But how did you remove it before flight? Because aren't there nuclear warheads underneath a giant... There's like the top of a rocket, and underneath that, the nuclear warheads are underneath that, and it's all like bolted together and stuff, so how could you remove that before flight?
I think this must be, because it says flight, it was probably on an aircraft.
Okay. There's a couple things that are just not adding up. And hey, I'm no rocket scientist. And you need a rocket scientist to figure this one out, literally. How much do you want for it?
I'd like to ask $800.
Okay. Do you mind if we take this over to the Atomic Testing Museum? There's a guy there who will know exactly what this is.
Oh, I'd love it.
Give me a few minutes, and we'll run over.
All right.
Okay?
I believe the museum will assure us that it is what I think it is, and I'm confident we can make a good deal.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, Rick, good to see you. I'm the executive director of the National Atomic Testing Museum. Things have become more collectible from nuclear weapons simply because of their awesome power. So, Rick, this looks kind of familiar.
Well, good, because we're trying to figure out exactly what it is.
Let me take a look at that real quick. I noticed that there's a plaque on here. And the plaque talks about it being part of a thermonuclear bomb, a B-57. But let me tell you a little bit about this bomb, the B-57, that this plaque refers to. It was made, you know, for a strike force that was a smaller fighter that would go in. These were bombs that were used in theater and in shorter distances.
Okay, so this was a thermonuclear bomb. This had hydrogen in it.
Well, no. This one was a nuclear weapon. The fission and fusion bombs, the thermonuclear bombs, were really big.
So what you're saying here is that the plaque is wrong.
That's right.
Okay.
So, Rick, what are your real concerns about this?
You know what? It's cool, but it's only gonna be really cool and worth money if it belonged to a nuclear bomb.
Yes. And the answer to that, we'll have to find by trying it out.
You got one of these bombs here?
We just happen to have one hanging around here.
I'm leaving the building right now. Thermonuclear, nuclear, it makes no difference to me as long as it's real. Because if it's real, it's badass, and badass always sells. That's it, huh?
This is it.
Whoa.
This is a B-57 tactical nuclear weapon. They had to cover it and protect it while it was on the ground getting ready to be loaded, because it's pretty easy to run this into something. And here's why. We'll take this off and I'll show you. This is a composite nose cone, and behind this was a radar altimeter. That's what would tell the bomb to trigger and to go off. So why don't we see if this is the same one? It ought to fit.
So basically, if this cover fits this bomb, it's authentic.
Yeah, try it.
Let's try it out and see.
Okay.
Well, it fits perfectly, and it looks the same.
Yeah, look at that.
Thanks, man. We know it's legit now, and I'm gonna try and make a deal with this guy.
Good, let's do that. First of all, it's nice that someone retained this so we'd have some example of it. That was the leading edge of our defense against the old Soviet Union. It was the first line of defense.
You know it's real.
It's hard to ascertain a value. You understand what I'm saying? How much do you want for it?
800.
You know, it's interesting, it's great, but I gotta find someone who's gonna buy it. Will you take $300 for it?
I don't know. It's got to be worth 700. Think of the millions or billions that went into building this.
We just meet in the middle at 600? That's even above the middle.
Go in the middle, 650.
6 1/4?
6 1/4.
We got a deal.
All right. I bought the item 19 years ago for $35. When it fit perfectly, I just knew that it was going to be a good day for me. I got to say, I'm the bomb.
Hey, what do you got here?
I got an old Geiger counter. This is for finding ore and oil.
Can this detect aluminium?
No.
I came to the pawn shop today to try to sell my Geiger counter. A Geiger counter is for finding ore that, you know, is radioactive, for making nuclear bombs and making power plants nowadays. I hope there ain't no radiation leaking out of this thing, because I've been hanging on to this thing for years.
Where in the world did you get this?
I got it from my grandfather up in Oregon, and I don't know what year it was made in.
This is 1950s right here, I can guarantee you. What these were basically used for is looking for uranium deposits in the 1950s, because when the nuclear plants started coming out of the United States, everyone thought they were going to strike it rich with uranium. It was the new gold.
Something I'd like to find out about. It says ore. Well, I know what ore is, but this is oil. Is that oil that I was looking for?
I believe some oil is radioactive, and it gives off a different type of radiation. I imagine there's different types of tubes in the front of them to detect different types of radiation. But I don't know if the vacuum tubes are good at it because of these batteries. These are 90-volt batteries over here. And that's not a 9-volt. That's a 22.5-volt battery, and I don't think you can get them anymore. So we'll never know if it works because I can't turn the damn thing on, and I don't have anything radioactive laying around here to test it out.
What makes this really cool is from the early days of the nuclear age, but I'm afraid it's more nostalgic than functional.
Did you want to pawn it or sell it?
I kind of want to sell it.
The problem is, this thing's just a novelty because it's really not usable anymore. I mean, you can probably go out and buy something right now that's 100 times more efficient, a lot more reliable, and I would give you like a whopping $30 for it.
Okay. Yeah. For that price, I'm thinking about maybe putting it on the shelf for a while.
Okay. Thanks for bringing it in, man.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it.
Since I couldn't make a deal today, I'm just going to put it in my house, keep it as a conversation piece, and use it as a bookend.
How's it going?
I'm good. How can I help you?
I think I have something here that you've never seen before.
Graphite from CP1 first nuclear reactor. What exactly is this?
It's a piece of graphite that was from the Chicago Pile 1 nuclear reactor project in 1942.
Do you know what you get when two graphs don't like each other? A graphite.
That's a good one. I like that one. I'm at the pawn shop today to try to sell my piece of graphite from the Chicago Pile 1 nuclear reactor. It's in very good shape. The graphite is one whole piece. I think this graphite is super amazing because it's part of not only American history, but also world history, since this project led directly to the Manhattan Project, which was instrumental during World War II. I'm hoping to get $2,000 for my piece of graphite from the Chicago Pile 1 nuclear reactor.
It looks really, really cool. It's in this little encasement. Where did you get this?
I actually picked that up at a garage sale local to Chicago. Thought I might have something super cool on my hands.
Yeah, I know a little bit about this, but not too much. I do know that 1942 was a very important time. We were experimenting in a nuclear reaction, and this was basically the beginning of the Manhattan Project. This was a big deal around the entire world, and still is today. I mean, it's pretty awesome. The graphite actually it's kind of like an encasement for the nuclear reactor. You know, it was to help absorb some of the neutrons, I think. Hopefully this is not radioactive, so we don't have to be scared about that. What are you looking to do with this?
Looking to sell it.
And how much are you looking for?
Hoping to get $2,000.
Okay, they could go for quite a bit of money. I'm not exactly sure how much. I do know that these are very collectible. There's not tons and tons of them out there because these would have been given as gifts to like scientists or big money donors, and those people usually like to hold on to their things. So before I fork any kind of money over like that, I'd like to call in a buddy of mine, and I do know for sure he'll know a lot more about this than I do, which is pretty much nothing.
Perfect. Hopefully it gets a good reaction from him.
All right, I see you got jokes too. Let me give him a call and get him down here.
Sounds good. I have no concerns with an expert coming in to look at my graphite piece. I've done a little bit of research, and I'm confident in its authenticity.
How you doing, Mark?
I've been doing well.
Well, this is what I called you in for, Mark. I have a piece of graphite from the CP1.
Chicago Pile 1. Interesting. You mind if I take a look at it?
Please go ahead.
Ah, thank you. Oh, yes. All right. This was part of the Manhattan Project. They used over 700,000 pounds of graphite in the first nuclear reactor. And literally, they were bricks of graphite that were stacked up. They actually used the University of Chicago football team to help build this thing. This was the first time that we had a self-sustaining nuclear reaction. This was an incredible event. They tested it on December 2nd, 1942, just like it says on it, and they saved some of the bricks after it was finally taken apart and buried. So what you have here is a part of one of those bricks. This piece of graphite changed the world. Whether or not you like nuclear power, this is an extraordinary artifact from the dawn of the nuclear era. That's pretty cool.
Have you ever seen one of these before?
I have seen them in photographs. I haven't seen an actual one. A number of them have been given out, but they are not at all common. Anybody interested in the early nuclear age or World War II collectors, it's one of those sorts of pieces that you want it in your collection. You want to be able to say, ah, look what I've got. So it is highly collectible.
My little brain is trying to process it all, buddy. You've helped a tremendous amount.
All righty. Thanks for letting me see it.
Thank you, Mark. All right, well, it's really cool. I learned a lot about it. Would you take $500 for it?
No, I couldn't go that low. I still think, 2,000's a pretty good number.
Are you willing to come down anywhere in my ballpark?
I mean, I could come down a little bit. Would you meet me at like 12?
I think the most I'd be willing to pay for it is $800.
I've seen them in sales go for, 17.
If you sell it online or in an auction, you will have to pay fees, and that's kind of why I'm saying $800, so that I have a little room to make a little bit of money. I do believe that's right around what it's worth, 1,000, maybe a little more. So I'm a buyer at $800, but I really can't pay any more for it.
I think at that price, I'll just take it home and put it on my shelf and show it off some more, because I think it's a really cool, unique piece of history.
No, I agree with you. It's pretty awesome. If you do change your mind, I'm always here, and my offer will always stand.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
I'm a little disappointed that our deal melted down today, but I'm not too upset. I'm going to bring it home and put it on my shelf and give it to my son when he's old enough.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? What do we got here?
I've got my grandfather's military lighter, and in conjunction with that, I have this great scrapbook to show you from making top secret nuclear propaganda films for the U.S. government.
This is really neat. This is amazing.
I came down to the pawn shop today to try to sell my granddad's vintage military cigarette lighter from the atomic testing program in the 1950s. I think the least I'd probably take is $50. If it's worth under $50, I'll just keep it in the family.
And where did you get this?
My granddad was the original writer on Ben-Hur, Mutiny on the Bounty. He produced the original Postman Always Rings Twice. This is my granddad right here. In the 1950s, he joined this small group of writers and producers in Hollywood that worked at this top secret movie studio making nuclear propaganda films for the US government. The medallion here is Joint Task Force 7. The Joint Task Forces were all the military branches.
Yeah, everyone wanted their name attached
Right.
to it because that way they would get more money for their agency. And they all got together, created a joint task force to blow up.
And that's exactly what they did.
I mean, their biggest bomb test was 15 megatons. That's like 1,000 Hiroshimas. The nuke tests conducted by the US government back in the 1950s were somewhat controversial. They just flattened part of the Marshall Islands. So the government sent some big Hollywood writers and directors to put a positive spin on it.
You have a lot of stuff for something that was supposed to be top secret.
I imagine everyone was on their toes at the time because the Rosenbergs just got sentenced to death for giving
Right.
out nuclear secrets. They were the first American civilians ever executed for the crime of treason.
Well, I'm sure those pictures in the back were not meant to be seen by just anybody. This was my grandfather's tag. He had top security clearance, the very high security you could have for a civilian.
Are you kidding me? Original photos of nuclear bomb tests taken by the guy who wrote Mutiny on the Bounty. Unbelievable. I could sell these in a heartbeat. So we have the photo album, ID badge, and the lighter. I'll tell you what, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. $500.
Box. Oh, man. Well, I want to keep the scrapbook and the paperwork just because that was my granddad. I still have a family connection to it. I gotta keep it.
This is
on to
the
my
cool
kids.
stuff, though, right here.
You know what? I know it's the cool stuff. The photos are amazing.
Okay, so why did you bring all this stuff in if you didn't want
To
to sell
show
it?
you the cool story behind this amazing lighter.
Can't blame her for not wanting to sell her family photos, dude.
But I'm not a smoker. This is a cool lighter.
You gotta at least give me the ID.
Okay, I'll throw in the ID.
It sucks she wouldn't let the photos go, but the lighter and the ID are still cool. But now she's tipped her hand, letting me know she really wants to sell them. So I'm definitely using that to my advantage. All right, now let's negotiate. I'll give you $50. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not an easy sell.
Would you meet me at 75?
I'll tell you what, I'll go $60.
Yeah, you got a deal.
Okay, $60.
I was a little tempted when he offered $500 for those scrapbooks, but I got to keep them for my kids and hopefully their kids too.
What do we have here?
Got some civil defense all-purpose survival crackers.
What do they defend?
Hunger.
Sounds about right.
I came down to the pawn shop today to sell my crackers. These are about 48 years old, but in pretty good condition. I'm hoping to sell these for at least $75 today, but I'm willing to take $40.
So where did you get these?
A buddy of mine works for a real estate company, and they're about to remodel a building. Took me down into the old fallout shelter, and there were several of these cracker containers down there.
I love some of the ingredients. Propyl gallate and propylene glycol added to preserve freshness.
Sounds good.
Some of you can't eat these. I guarantee you after 48 years, they're probably bad. The National Biscuit Company, you know who that is?
Now they're known as Nabisco.
That's
that was
right.
the name before Nabisco.
During the Cold War, many buildings' basements were designated as fallout shelters. This is where you would go in case of a nuclear attack. Nabisco was one of the companies that stocked these fallout shelters with food. Well, in the early 60s, a lot of people thought that nuclear war was inevitable and that we really needed these fallout shelters. They more or less stopped doing it because they realized it was stupid. I mean, if a nuclear bomb's dropped, fallout shelters aren't gonna do a lot.
I figured it's a good thing for someone that's into Cold War, collectibles and...
I mean, it's not like really collectible, but it is sort of like a novelty. These crackers are a reminder of all the craziness going on during the Cold War, and I'm sure I can find a buyer for them. I'm just really glad no one had to actually ever open these things. So what do you want to do with this?
I was hoping to sell it.
What were you looking for?
They were going as high as 99 online. I was hoping to get around 75.
Really?
75 for some old crackers? Can't you do more like 35, man?
There's not a lot of them I've seen that are Nabisco. It's in great shape. How about 50?
I can do 40 maybe at the most.
45.
You're really beating me up, man. I'll meet you in the middle at 42.
Okay.
It's a deal.
I'll do it.
Rick, go do the paperwork.
Yeah, whatever. Go do the paperwork, Sean.
I ended up getting $42 for it. I was hoping to get more, but the guy that was negotiating was driving a pretty hard bargain.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. What do we got here?
I have a case of military emergency drinking water.
Okay.
No, it's from 1962.
You ever try any of it?
No, it only has a 30-year shelf life, so it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Kind of missed the boat on that
Yeah.
one, huh?
I have a case full of 25 cans of military emergency water. I've never wanted to open the can of water. I'm afraid I'm gonna get tetanus. I'm hoping to get 300 for it, but the least amount I'll take is 150.
So where in the world did you get this?
My dad was actually a contractor, and he was hired when the Peacekeeper missile at F.E. Warren Air Force Base was decommissioned to come demolish the interior of the Launch Control Center that would actually launch that missile. And he found this underneath the floorboards.
Nice. They actually say that everybody should have at least 3 days worth of water at their house,
Right.
3 days worth of food. Especially during the 60s when we were right in the middle of the Cold War and you're pretty much sitting on the seat of your pants. Is today going to be the day where we go to war with Russia and
Right.
everybody in the world's going to die? Before the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty in the 90s, we had missile silos hidden all over the place. And these top secret locations had to have survival rations in case of a nuclear strike. Who knows where these water cans could have been stored?
There's actually a can opener in here if you wanted to test it out.
Where's the can opener at?
Right here, that's the original can opener. There's actually two of them, one for each controller.
Okay,
So-
so you got to keep your own can opener, so one guy didn't get a little bossy with a can opener and try to take over everything,
Right.
apparently.
Exactly. And one of these actually has something written on the bottom of it. It has a date on it.
That was obviously done by somebody in the military. You can always tell by the way they write the date.
Okay.
I can almost guarantee you that it was somebody's job who had nothing to do inside the missile silo to go and label all the boxes of when the water goes bad.
Okay.
So what do you want to do with this stuff?
I want to sell it.
Any particular reason why, or
I'm a poor college student. I need to pay bills, and I thought it might be worth something.
what were you looking to get out of it?
I was looking to get 300 for the case. I've seen them go online for as much as $40 per can.
$40 per can for water.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you 150 bucks. I think I can maybe put them on the shelf and people might buy them as something kind of funny and cheeky. I don't really see it as being like a military collector kind of thing.
But I mean, it does have all the original information on there that you need, and it does come with the can openers. I mean, would you go 250?
I'll go up to 200 if you want it. I'm not going any higher.
Yeah, I'll go 200.
All right, deal.
All right.
Meet me over there, I'll write you up. Go ahead and leave this here.
Okay. $200 isn't really that much, but every little penny counts.